Good to go. We'll call this meeting to order of the town board, August 14th, and I'll ask, we have a couple of Boy Scouts, Colin and Rory Fuller. We ask them to lead us in the pledge of allegiance. Fellas? Go ahead.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The young men are here to get items towards their merit badge, correct? Is it a government merit badge or just citizenship? Okay, well, we'll try to be good citizens tonight. So, but we welcome you and welcome the parents for bringing them, and we're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
First item of business: approve the minutes of the town board meeting on July 10th.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Alexander, second by Councilman Quintel. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, we'll go to report officers, town clerk's report.
The monthly report for July. Miscellaneous dog fees of $275. Commercial fireworks, $25. Marriage license fees, $70. Bell jar licenses, $10. Clerk fees, photocopies and faxes of $60. Certified copies and genealogy copies, $132. Landfill fees and punch cards, $26,803. Transient merchant, $125. Games of chance, $20. Dog licensing fees, $188. Building permits of $276.25, bringing a total local shares permitted of $27,984.25.
Okay, supervisor's report for the month of July. We have total monies on hand of $3,537,027.91. Assessor.
Assessor's report for August. Preparation of 2025 rolls has begun. During the next few months, sales and sales to assessment ratios will be reviewed and analyzed. This process is in part used to determine the equalization rate for next year. We also are in the process of reviewing new construction permits and completion certificates for the 2025 rolls. As of this date, August 8th, 2024, I am happy to report that there were no small claims assessment reviews cases filed this year. However, there's a possibility there may be at least last minute filing as the property owner has until August 12th to deliver any petition to the assessor's office.
Jack, you were, Bob, on to do the justice. I know you go in there and visit them, so you were ready to the justice report. Thank you.
Good, right?
Yep.
You shocked me. Judge Fisk, traffic and vehicle surcharge of $4,479. Summary proceeding, $40. Suspension fee, $210. And a total of $12,459. Judge Carrillo, vehicle and traffic, $4,335. Summary proceedings, 20, suspension fees, $210. And the total is $4,335. Total received in July was $24,010.
We had 157 new cases for the month of July. The court is pretty busy. Landfill.
Yeah, landfill report. Again, we're in the black, doing great as of the end of July, $34,256 and change. Place is paying for itself. Very happy.
Okay, Brian, planning.
There were 6 land use and development permits issued the month of July. The zoning board nor the planning board had meetings this month due to lack of applications. However, they did receive an application for an area variance from the Christ Disciples property at 42 King Street in order to portion off a piece of that property that can be conveyed to the church property on Main Street. That will be reviewed by the board in September.
Okay. It's enforcement.
Sent a notice to the owner of 30 River Street for occupying a camper, which is a zoning violation. Sent a court order to the owner of 3 Alden Avenue for running a business in a residential zone. Sent a notice to the owner of 41 Sanford Street for a junkyard violation, more than one unregistered vehicle on a property. Sent a notice to the owner of 7 Alden Avenue for vehicles from the business on 3 Alden Avenue. The owner was unaware of the property's use and notified the owner of 3 Alden Avenue to stop leaving their vehicles there. Check compliance for grass violation notices. The contractor will mow some of those. I left the FEMA booklet with soil and water at Jim Lieberman for information which I did not have access to. Mailed out requested information with regard to short-term rentals. Toward the storm damage area from the tornado that touched down in Green Mansion's Potterbrook Road along Route 9 along with the supervisor. Research as requested by the town attorney Peterson information regarding 220 Ridge Street. Replied to the owner of 28 Palermo Road and site visited the address. The owner had called about a hole in their yard after the tornado, which they believed was part of their septic. Long story short, I showed documentation to the owner for all septic work at that address since 1977. When the house was constructed, she thanked me for the information and my time in researching her problem. The tires that were piled up at 95 River Street were removed. Attended court for the following property owners: 3 Alden Avenue, 3812 Main Street, and Alden Avenue. The case was settled. The Main Street case will be returned August 7th. Took Warren County handout information regarding uninsured damages to property owners from the tornado to persons and contractors working in the Green Mansions area. All appreciated the information. Clarified with a female caller that the no parking signs were in the town of Thurman and Athol and not in the town of Warrensburg. They were on River Road in Thurman. After the call, I verified with Warren County DPW sign crew that they placed those signs there and that they were not new, as the lady had suggested. Sent a court notice to the owner of 40 Ridge Street for garbage and sewage leakage on the property. Sent a grass notice to the owner of 193 River Street. Sent a court order to the owner of 56 Lake Avenue for cleanup of the fire at that residence. Traveled with the town contractor to 18 Prospect Street. You'll start mowing and removing overgrown brush at that location.
Busy. Highway.
Prepared by Pete Badarian July 1st this year. Repaired washouts on Beasley Pond Road and Pucker Street after severe rainstorms. Tornado hit July 16th. Crews called out. Trees down on Art Kennison Road, Palmero Road, Triple Lake Road, Green Mansions Road, Rob Moffett Road. Roads closed for clearing. All roads open by July 17th. Cleanup continues. 2 trucks sent to help Johnsburg and Thurman with blacktop for 3 days. Swept town roads after 3 severe rainstorms. Inquired on the status of the single axle plow truck delivered in line for install of plow and dump box. No ETA at this time. Continuing storm cleanup. Preparing for blacktop. Respectfully, Pete Badarian.
Okay, other reports we received from beautification, historian, museum, parks and rec, sewer, water, and youth. They're all posted on the town website. Communications, town board and planning board were notified about litigation on an open development parcel of land located at 9 Browns Court. Old business, I still ask people who don't know if they have lead pipes going into their residence, please contact the town. We still need that information, I believe, by October of this year. That's the deadline by the EPA. And if you need help knowing or asking or finding out about it, please call the town, or you can call the clerk's office, or you can call the water clerk at 518-504-4114, and we'll send somebody out from the water department to help you. Last night, Richards Library had an open house, October last night, and it went from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. in honor of their 123rd anniversary. And all I can say is the library is a great asset to the community. It was nice getting over there, even some of us who lived there for a while. As much as it doesn't change, it has changed, but it's still a library, and they made great strides getting the programs out. And I believe the library gets more use, and they're opening up to more organizations to use the community room at the library. So if you haven't been there to see the changes they made, I would suggest everybody spend a minute over there. The next board meeting is scheduled for September 11th. That's our annual September 11th memorial here at the town. So I'm asking, I think probably, does Tuesday work for everybody if we moved it to Tuesday, get it earlier in the month? Tuesday? Okay, so we'll move that next town board meeting to, it would be September 10th. That's a Tuesday, and we'll do it right at 7 o'clock. Okay. Also that night, we need to schedule a public hearing to discuss potential changes to town codes and any zoning issues. That would go at right at 7 o'clock. I do need to do a little work with the town attorney to get the definitions defined and any of their other law changes we have. That night, we'll probably just have a public hearing and discuss these changes. And then we'll act on the changes in the future. So that would be next September 10th at 7 o'clock. We'll set a public hearing to discuss potential changes to town codes and zoning. And if anybody between now and next week has something they'd like us to address, please bring it to my office so we can get it into our legal ad. I need a resolution request to approve the major local event for the world's largest garage sale sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce and waive the $150 application fee. We had a meeting the other day on the garage sale. Most of the town spots are already sold out. And as far as what the town does, we do a lot to help the Chamber of Commerce, and I think we're ready to go. And we did waive the fee last year. So somebody want to make that a motion? John, Brian, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right. The next is one of the things, there's several things going to happen this year with the garage sale. First item, if the board will approve it tonight, we're going to close the town hall on October 4th. That's the Friday of the garage sale, so to speak. The reason why we're doing that is too much congestion out here. And at noontime, the spots around the town hall, which are rented out by the Chamber of Commerce, people are always chomping at the bit to get there. They're hanging out here. They basically would like to see us not here that morning. So we'd like to close the town hall on that Friday. That being said, all the permits would have to be purchased by Thursday, the 3rd. We're going to put that on we'll post it on Facebook, we'll post it on social media. We'll work with the Chamber of Commerce rather than, and then anybody who comes in or is late in purchasing a permit will have to pay double the cost. The reason for that is in past, we'll have some people who will hang back and not want to buy a permit. Jim, our code enforcement officer, goes out. He has a list of all the permits. He goes up and down Main Street looking for town permits, and then he will, on occasion, have to sell permits. Problem is, everybody knows this garage sale and when it is every year. We're making changes to accommodate vendors, so the vendors should try to get here sooner. So what I'd like tonight is a resolution to approve the permit fee on the IPP permits sold by the town after the town hall closes on 4:30 on Thursday, to go from $50 to a non-food permit to $100, and $100 on a non-food permit to $200 for a food vendor permit. And this will cut down on these latecomers trying to get permits. A motion by John, second by Brian. Any further discussion?
I just have one question.
Yes.
My question is, are we giving them enough time to, and I understand that this event creeps into the week further and further every year. But my question is, the people who are only normally here on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, instead of creeping in on Thursday, are we giving them enough time for them to get the permits that are out of towners? And, or are we not giving them enough time?
We get them
60
online,
days?
get them online too.
Okay, so
Oh,
they're gonna have,
No, it's online right now.
so there's plenty, they've given them plenty of time for them to make that decision, because
Yeah.
It's like the usual suspects that do this, just maybe they can right underneath the radar and I have to play with it, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that
Yeah,
before.
they have, it's on, our permits are online. They are sending in now to get permits, but we'll put a blast on social media after today's meeting, and then we'll get the message out, and we're working with the Chamber of Commerce. Chamber of Commerce is gonna help. They're almost sold out. We know the people who usually buy permits from the town. We can always reach out to them between now and, I think it's the 3rd of October, because I think it's 4th, 5th, and 6th this year, and try to reach them. So we'll do everything possible to make this as easy as we can. So we have a motion, a second, and approve, right? Okay. Hey, we had a couple of late things come in. First, a discussion on water transmission main project. We have some grant funding remaining on the water transmission main project, and that's an H20 capital account. 2 more items are going to be done in conjunction with this capital project. We're going to do a water main replacement on Jenny Jill Loop. That's a small pipe on Jenny Jill. We're going to replace it with, is it be a 4 or 6, Tracy?
4-inch.
4-inch. We're going to put, there's an inch line in there now. We're
Yeah.
going to, and there's a few houses we're going to replace it with a 4-inch line. And then after that, we're going to complete our changes to our water tank upgrades up on the hill, which will be some valves, some piping, some security measures we're going to take with the water tank up on all that avenue.
Right.
So in order to do that, we're using excess funds that we got from the state when we did the water main. We need to do a seeker, I think, full environmental. Jackie's going to help with.
Yeah, we want to talk about
Yes, go ahead.
Cedar right now.
Talk about
Okay,
this.
so
Thank you.
the town's engineering firm Cedarwood sent over some documentation, I think just today,
Yes, yeah.
related to the secret review related for this project. This project, the first phase of it has already been reviewed under SECRA, and the town board was the lead agency on it.
Yeah.
At that time, it was a type 1 action, which means that it meets one of the definitions on the type 1 SECRA list and requires review using the longer version of the environmental assessment form for SECRA purposes. The town engineer has recommended that this broadened scope of the project now for phase 2 should also be reviewed as a type 1 action at this time. They prepared a part 1 of the full environmental assessment form, which the board members have all received. And you may recall, especially those of you that were on the board before, for a type 1 that requires the full environmental assessment form, you also have to coordinate review with all involved agencies. So any other entity that has to provide an approval for the project to move forward, you have to coordinate the secret review. On the first go around, you were the lead agency, meaning the town board did the review. So what the engineers recommended is that you adopt this resolution. They provided you a draft form, that you adopt this resolution tonight, declaring your intention to act as the agency for secret review on this. So you're not conducting the review for this one today.
Okay.
You're starting the ball rolling to assume the agency status. If you wish to do that and you adopt the resolution, what then goes out is a notice to all the involved agencies, and they have 30 days to say, no, we don't want you to do that, or go ahead. We don't hear from them, then you get to move forward as the agency. So we're starting that secret process now, confirming that you agree with your engineer that it's a type 1 action and that you want to be the lead agency.
So we need to pass this resolution.
The resolution here, the resolution authorizing the town board to act as lead agency for a secret process for the review of phase 2 of the water transmission project, the one entitled that.
Are there any questions from any of the board members? I know sometimes it's your first time to doing seeker. Anybody?
No,
So you want to make the motion?
I'll make that.
Brian will make the motion.
Second.
John will second the motion to declare the town board as the lead agency in this changes to the water main, or the second phase of the water main project. Any further discussion? Do we need a voice vote on that, Jackie, or can we just do it?
Yeah, they did set it up for a roll call.
Okay, Clerk will call the roll?
Supervisor Gary,
Yes.
Councilperson Alexander,
Yes.
Councilperson Rouse,
Yes.
Councilperson Sutton.
Yes.
Councilperson Quintel.
Yes.
Thank you.
And your engineers have asked that you inform them of this tomorrow.
Yes.
Send them the signed, part one, and they'll assist you in getting those notices out to the involved agencies.
And the second item is, with the changes in the demolition of the old highway garage on King Street, we found that we need some extra space for the snow plows that we used to keep in that building over there on King Street. We're gonna keep them up there at near the highway garage up there on the landfill road. So I had Cedarwood go in, we scoped out a piece of land. They have tentatively put together a plan to put a pole barn up there. And I was lucky enough to have Assemblyman Simpson send me an application that potentially we can get this project paid for by the state of New York in an amount of $150,000. So what we need to do, and the APA has already signed off on this project. So they found no jurisdiction from the APA. So that one, I'm gonna turn back over to Jackie, and she's gonna explain to me what we do with SECR on this one.
All right, so similarly, the town's engineers have been assisting with this project. They prepared the environmental assessment form, part one, which all of the town board members should have received. This is not like the one we just talked about, that was the type one. This appears at your engineer's recommendation to be an unlisted action, meaning you don't need to coordinate review with any involved agencies. And honestly, I'm not sure if there are any in this one. But you do not need to coordinate review. And what they're recommending, the engineer's recommending, is that you conduct the SECR review at this time. So, especially for our newer members who haven't done this as many times as our longer tenured members, what you're ultimately trying to determine in this SECR review is if the project is likely to result in significant environmental adverse impacts. And if you find that it is going to, it triggers a whole process where an environmental impact statement is made. If you find that it is not going to cause significant adverse environmental impacts, you adopt what is called a negative declaration pursuant to SECR, and then you can proceed with project approvals and things from that, okay? So that's the exercise we're undertaking now. And to complete that task, we review the environmental assessment form part one that you've all had, and then the part two has a series of questions that you go through, and 11, and for each of them you answer no or small impact may occur, or a moderate to large impact may occur, to assist you in reaching that ultimate determination of whether or not there's going to be significant adverse environmental impacts. Any questions on that? All right, if you're ready, then I can walk you through those 11 questions. And keeping in mind, it's not a yes or no, it's no or small impact or a moderate to large impact will occur as a result of the project. All right, so 1, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations?
No.
Right? Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land?
No.
3, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No.
4, will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area?
No.
5, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No.
6, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities?
No.
7, will the proposed action impact existing A, public-private water supplies, B, public-private wastewater treatment utilities?
No.
8, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of an important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? 9, will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources such as wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna? 10, will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No.
And 11, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No.
All right, because you've answered no or small to all 11 questions on part 2, it would certainly be appropriate for you at this time to consider a resolution determining that the project will not result in any adverse environmental impacts, adopting a SECRA negative declaration. And I know your engineer has provided you with a form resolution resolving to do just that.
So we can adopt this resolution as a negative declaration. Unless somebody want to make that?
I'll make that.
Brian?
Yep.
And second by Mr. Alexander. We'll do a voice vote.
Councilperson Alexander.
Yes.
Councilperson Rounds.
Yes.
Supervisor Garrett.
Yes.
Councilperson Sutton.
Yes.
And Councilperson Quintal.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and hopefully, most of that project will be paid for by SAM money from the state of New York. So we need to get our application in. We're working on that as we speak. Next is, like many municipal beaches in the area, we are going to close down our beach on August 20th of this year because our lifeguards are all going back to college. And we were fortunate to have 5 lifeguards, and they're all going to college this year. So we'll have nobody to run the beach. We checked with other surrounding communities, and everybody's in the same boat. We tried to see if we could poach a lifeguard for one of the other communities, but nobody has lifeguards, and it's unfortunate. It's the earliest we've had to close the beach ever, but when we can't keep the beach open without lifeguards, that means the whole beach area and pavilion area is shut down after the 20th of August. That's for information only. Paul Gilchrist from the Historical Society is here. And Paul, we talked yesterday about the signs that he's posting around some of the historical places around town. And one of the signs he would like to put up is a sign that depicts the end of the track for the Hudson Valley Railway that ran the trolley service from, I guess, from Queensbury or Warrensburg to Queensbury, or from Queensbury to Warrensburg in 1902 to 1927. And he's designed a sign, and he would like to put it up near the bandstand. And I thought perhaps if we could put it on where we have the benches where the bus stop is, we could put it there. And when people are sitting there waiting for the buses, they could at least read this. It's a nice sign. I believe it would be in this color. That's your color scheme or similar?
Well, I chose that because it would blend with the brick on but there are other colors we could have, but I thought that was a good one. The background of the trolley itself will not be white. It will be the burgundy color.
Sure.
And the trolley will, the drawing of the trolley will be in that tan color as the same as the letters.
Yeah.
It shows up very well.
So-
They do a good job.
If the board is okay, we say to Paul, go ahead. I mean, we had a little bit of debate yesterday about McKinney's store. And I talked to Joyce because she lives across the street. McKinney's store is where we do the excess parking. You are correct. It's this side of that house. in there, so that was McKinney
It's-
Store. I
it's
know you
right-
got a sign for that one too.
It's right directly across from Joyce.
Yeah.
And I checked it again on the tax map, and that was indeed the lot. Yeah.
So these are a nice feature that Paul's doing on some of these
That's a great idea.
places around town, so we're happy with it, Paul. Thank you.
Okay, could I show you a couple of others? here?
Sure.
The trolley terminus was there by the bandstand, but there was at the, what's now the laundromat, was the waiting room with the trolley. And the back of that building was the freight depot. with the
Now, is
trolley.
that down there or up there, up or,
No, the,
or the national, we call it the National Grid Building?
thank you. Between the trolley, between the, what's now the laundromat and what was
Why don't you
Tony
show the
Alarms
public more?
Hotel, there was a Grand Union there, any of you remember that back in the 50s. And right between the laundromat and the Grand Union, there was a spur of the trolley track that backed in there. People, primarily so that they could pick up stuff at the freight depot in the back of the building, but also people that were waiting in the waiting room, if it was raining or snowing something, they didn't have to wait over by the bands. That was before the bandstand, but they didn't have to wait over there in inclement weather. So yeah, the trolley was powered by the power plant down where the farmers market, right across from
Curtis.
Curtis. And we put a Pomeroy sign there, and that powered the trolley all the way down to Queensbury. It sent electricity down to, remember what they called at the Fort William Henry, the trolley restaurant?
Right.
They had another dynamo there. They took AC current from here, changed it to DC current, and then sent the trolley on down to Queensbury, and then Queensbury picked up the power from there. You could go all the way to Waterford and Troy and Albany, Saratoga, Syracuse. The yellow house up here beside the Emerson House, that's it's what we call the Howard Goodman Spidell House, if you want to find that. So, that was originally in 1820, that was the house built by Pelatiah Richards. In 1825, James Fenimore Cooper was his guest in the summertime while he was researching the Last of the Mohegans. Later on, he sold that property to people called the Donovans. And then after that, it sold on that sign. They sold it to Dr. Daniel Howard in 1870. Then when he died, it went to Dr. Goodman. They both came from Washington County. After that, Phil and Ethel Roberts owned it briefly. They sold it to Dr. Spidell, the oral surgeon. And then a couple of B&Bs were there. Now the people from Oregon own it, and he's doing one heck of a job. It was neglected for 15, 20 years there, just kind of deteriorated. He's a master craftsman, and he's took me around inside. He's done a marvelous job there, and he's only halfway through. I wish he'd buy the pillars. Where Stewart's is, you probably know that was the Warrensburg Academy. Let's see which one is.
That one.
All right, that's the academy. That was 1854 to 1897. That was a stone building. And then it was torn down, and 1898 to 1943 was the Union Free School. And then that was torn down when the
James Street School opened in 1943. About 3 years later, they tore this down, and shame they tore that down. That could have been used. And that has, that's owned by Stewart's. There's a big text sign that goes with those too. It describes all that, and we want to get permission from Stewart's to put it either somewhere near the mailbox there, or maybe even on the side of the old post office building. So we're hoping to get a critical mass of signs going, especially with the corporate people that we don't know personally, so that they can see that this is a kind of a community movement here. We've done about a dozen signs now over in Thurman. We've done several one-room schools. We've done the Ensign Stephen Griffin house there right across the street from the Thurman Station. That's an 1804 house. And just up the street, where Phil Carpenter's farm was, there was before the bridge, there was a ford across the river there. That was a fording place up until, and actually even after the bridge was taken out a couple of times. And that ford went, you can see in the river how it could be used, because there's islands there and the water's shallow, and it's above where the Schroon River comes in. So, but it comes out to a track kind of diagonally across, and that track follow for about a mile, and you come out at the fish hatchery. That's how you got to Warrensburg back then. Came out at fish hatchery and came down Hudson Street. So I have one I want to talk to Jack about here. You want me to show it?
It's up to you. You're doing a great job so far.
The elm tree halfway up the driveway there. There's only one elm tree in New York State that's taller than that one, but it's not as big around. So this is probably actually the biggest elm tree in New York State. And if you go online and look at, there are organizations all over the country that keep track of not only elm trees, but other kinds of trees as well. There's probably not 25 trees in the whole country, the elm trees, that are bigger than that one. You know, the one down in Glens Falls, right in front of the YMCA, it kind of looks like a weeping willow. That's a very beautiful tree, but it's nowhere near as big as this one. Then way up at the top of Alden Avenue, 5.5 miles up, where that big field is, there's an elm tree just sitting there all by itself. So anyway,
Thank
you. I'll show that. But we've Tom Randall was there yesterday, and after you left, he took photographs of about 4 signs that I had there, and then he wanted a whole list of the ones that we've done or that are in the works. So maybe there'll be an article in the paper.
Thank you, Bob, for bringing up some of these spots long before my time.
George Henry's, have you seen the sign
On
the front of George Henry's? That is talking about the mounting block.
Yeah.
So I put one by the eatery door and one by the drinkery door. But this company will do photographs on the signs. If the building isn't there anymore and we have a photograph of it, I can put that on the sign. If the building's there, we don't need the photograph. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
McKinney's sign is going to go up Friday afternoon, 2:00.
Okay. Next, we have to pay the bills on warrant number 8. Total bills on warrant number 8 are $211,581.15. Before we do that, there's one budget modification. We're taking $20,260.74 out of contingent, and we're putting into a code street lighting contractual. And this is to pay NYSERD has started project on the LED streetlights. We put a hold on that project until we can maybe revisit it, or National Grid approach us about doing something with the streetlights. So in order to pay for the engineering costs they have into the project, and it's on hold now, we need to transfer $20,260.74 from our contingency account into, this is an A account, 5182-400, and that's streetlights. So somebody want to make that a motion? John?
I'll second it.
Brian, seconded. Budget modification, and then to pay the bills on warrant number 8, and total amount of $211,581.15.
I'll make that.
Brian, second. John, any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'm not sure if we need the executive session, Jackie, or
That's up to you if you guys would like an update.
would you like an executive session to talk about the lawsuit a little bit? Okay, we'll do that. But first, let me open it up. Is there any comments from anybody in the audience tonight that would like to bring anything in front of the board? Please come up and state your name for the record. Brenda? Well, Brenda's first. Go ahead.
Sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Laura Moore with the Warrensburg Museum, and I just want to highlight that in July, we had 57 visitors. 23 of them were from the garden tour, and then this Sunday is the Sticky Wicket Croquet competition at the fish factory.
Thank you. Thank you. Brenda?
Brenda Monroe. Where's 9 Browns Court?
Where's what?
9 Browns Court.
Oh, 9th Brown Court, it's off
Huh?
it's off of Libraries Avenue. Off of Library Avenue.
Library have extensions.
Okay, and you went to the meeting yesterday for FEMA, did you? What did they say about local people that got the
No, I didn't go to any FEMA meeting.
tomorrow?
No, the state rep will be, the new state rep for this area is coming in. He'll be in town tomorrow. And he's the state representative for the capital area. And we're gonna take him up to Green Mansions. And then hopefully we're gonna press him to see if we can get some money for the homeowners. I know people are applying for the funds, I heard on the news tonight. So
On the computer? On the portal on the computer?
I believe so, people are applying. and,
Not everybody, such as my brother,
Yes, yeah.
who has no,
But
he has insurance,
we
but
chatted.
it's been a month, but I was just wondering, is he gonna be able to talk to anybody or just go on?
Well,
Find somebody with
if he's in town, if Bruce is in town tomorrow, he can stop in. We're gonna go up there.
Oh.
We're gonna go up there and tour the Green Mansions area and Rob Moffett Road. Those roads are still have a lot of damage. And then last Friday, we got more damage. And if we have time, we'll go up Schooner River Road. There's a lot of damage there, and up on Route 28 also. So we had a lot of damage from the tornado, and a lot of the taxpayers are paying a lot of money out of pocket for the cleanup. And that's the whole idea, is to get the state to come in and help our homeowners defray some of that cost.
Doesn't seem like house insurance is responsible at all.
Right.
As far as.
Yes, they will only cover if something on their property hit the house or something like that.
Well, then they're not doing too much, but thank you.
Yes, okay. Anybody else wish to address the board tonight? Well, I'd like to thank you, and I hope you two young gentlemen got some information. If you ever need anything else, don't hesitate to call us. And you're always welcome here at the town hall to learn more about government and what we do. I think it's important. I would like to say the summer rec programs wrapped up last week also. Our attendance was up this year. One of the goals we want to do next year, even though we're working with the school, I'd like to make them 5-day programs. We always had 5 days. The reason we switched to 4 days is because they serve lunch and breakfast, or they serve breakfast and lunch at the school, and they only run it for 4 days, their program. But I'm hoping next year that we can take the program back to 5 days. But I would say our attendance was up pretty good this year, and It's unfortunate on the swimming. I think they had some good days at the beach. The weather obviously has been tough. But the storms have really, really hurt every community around this area. We've really been hammered with damage. So if nobody else has anything, I'll ask for a motion to go into a quick executive session. Motion by John, second by Brian, to go into quick executive session, and I'll have you state the reason.
To discuss, pending litigation.
Okay, so we'll be in the executive session, and then we'll have no further business when we come out. We'll adjourn. So, thank you.
I'll see you after.
Well, if everybody clears out, we'll go right here.
You ready here, Kevin?
Yeah, if everybody clears out.
Congrats, fellas.
Enjoyed your presentation.
Good job, man. I'll look inside. I know I have to go through.